Have you ever finished an episode of a TV show and realized your shoulders were tense? Before anyone explains what's happening, your body already knows. Your breathing changes. You feel like you need a moment to breathe. That's what The Bear does better than almost any series I've watched. It doesn't simply tell us these characters are anxious. It builds anxiety so convincingly that we experience it ourselves. And that's exactly why the character's growth feels so satisfying. Most shows create tension throughout the story. The Bear creates tension through filmmaking. Think about the sound. Instead of music telling you what to feel, you're surrounded by printers, timers, metal hitting metal, overlapping conversations, and voices competing for your attention. Sometimes it's difficult to follow who's even speaking. That's intentional. The audience experiences the same sensory overload as the people inside the kitchen. Then there's the camera. It stays close. It moves constantly. It rarely gives you enough space to relax. Even quiet conversations feel unstable because the camera never fully settles. And then there's the pacing. The show refuses to give you a chance to reset. Scenes continue building pressure instead of cutting away and letting you breathe. You don't simply watch anxiety, you feel trapped inside it. But if there's one episode that captured this better than any other, it's Fishes. The Christmas dinner episode, Jamie Lee Curtis gives an unforgettable experience. Not because she's portrayed as a villain, but because she's unpredictable. Everyone around her has learned a different survival strategy. Some stay quiet, some argue, some try to fix everything, others disappear emotional. That's what makes the episode so powerful. The anxiety isn't coming from one person, it's coming from an entire family adjusting their behavior around one unstable emotion. The brilliant part is that The Bear doesn't create all of this stress simply to make us uncomfortable. It uses anxiety to show us where these people begin. Because if we don't experience their chaos, their growth wouldn't feel earned, right? Carmy slowly begins trusting other people with responsibilities he once tried to control himself. But whenever fear returns, so does his instinct to isolate himself and take everything back. Sydney grows into a more confident leader. She makes decisions with greater conviction. Yet, when the pressure rises, we still see moments of doubt. Their progress isn't perfect, it's human. But the character that stayed with me the most was Richie. When we first meet him, he's loud, defensive, angry. He resists almost every change because underneath all of it, he's afraid he no longer has a place. Then comes Forks. At first, polishing silverware and paying attention to tiny details feels meaningless to him. But slowly he starts watching, listening, learning. The man who once brought chaos into every room becomes the person trying to bring calm into it. And that's why Richie's transformation feels so real. It isn't reading like a movie moment, it feels earned. He realizes that excellence isn't about proving how important you are. It's about making someone else feel important. That's when everything changes. Not because someone gives him one motivational speech, because he chooses to care. He studies, he practices, he pays attention. Maybe that's why The Bear resonates with so many people. It understands that growth isn't the moment your anxiety disappears. It's the moment you begin responding differently to the same pressure. Richie isn't perfect, Carmy isn't healed, and Sydney still struggles. But none of them are the same people we met at the beginning. And maybe that's what real growth looks like. Not becoming someone completely different overnight, but choosing one difficult moment at a time to become a better version of yourself. Because sometimes the greatest transformation isn't becoming someone new. It's finally becoming the person you were capable of being all along. Stories don't always give us answers. Sometimes they simply help us understand ourselves a little bit better. If The Bear taught you something about yourself, I'd love to hear it in the comments. I'll see you in the next film, Decoded.